Yes, that one was a 13. I've never seen a 13 on a Honda. It's usually 12. But you want to remove this bracket from the back of this AC line because it gets in the way of getting access to your nut right here. These are two 10s, 10 millimeter head bolts, okay? Remove those and you can get access to this nut. Remove that nut. Loosen your wing nut adjuster up. Take your wing nut out with the adjuster on it. And then take this 10 millimeter bolt out. So you take this bracket up out of the way. And then you need to go down below here and get the pivot. I just took the whole thing with it, okay? Set that aside. Next you want to do is loosen up and remove your pivot bolt, which is right there, which is a 12 millimeter also. You want to remove that. And I'm pretty sure that's a nut, okay? Because on the other side is a flathead bolt, like a carriage bolt. Also, you can lift this reservoir up a little bit out of the bracket, so you can get it out of the way just a little bit extra. And unscrewing that pivot nut, get yourself a magnet on it so it doesn't fall out down and lose it, okay? And then do the same thing with the back side of the pivot bolt, which is way down in here. It's a flathead. Hopefully it might come out. I don't know. It might not. Let's see. I don't think the bolt moves anyway. Yeah, it moves. It's kind of slotted a little bit. So we'll go ahead and take that out so we don't lose it. Magnet. Stick this over here. Find the back side of it. Can't see that. Can't see. There it is. It's in a little pocket. I'm on it. Takes two hands. Here it is. All right. Now, should be able to pick this up a little bit. Move it up out of the way. Voila. There's your alternator. Okay, the pivot is on the top. The adjuster is on the bottom. And it's got one of those wing nut thingies on it too with the bolt in the center. Down below the pulley, so you have to get your hands down there and feel where it's at. And you also got a little bracket right here, bolted on the back side with the harness holder on it. And it's got the power wire to the back of it for the alternator. Get a 12 millimeter deep well socket, 3/8 drive, and your ratchet, and break it loose, and then go ahead and remove the nut. And you can go ahead and loosen up your adjuster, and then hopefully you can take the whole thing out. I don't know yet. All right, you got the adjuster bolt loose, which is a 12. Had used a regular ratchet with a shallow socket and a 1-inch extension on it because my regular deep well was too long. And then you loosen up your little wing nut, and then you loosen up your big bolt pivot. Now your belt's loose. Now you can take your belt off and you can go ahead and pull this bolt out. You still got to unplug it. Go ahead and remove your power steering reservoir holder. It's 12 millimeter. That will give you more access to pushing this bolt against the strut tower or the engine mount there, and hopefully the threads will be out of the alternator. So now we can take our belt off and then get a pry bar in here and pry our alternator out of there. Pried the alternator out of there, turned it on its side, pick up the rubber boot, and you can remove the terminal nut, which is a 10. After you remove that, then you want to push this tab down on this connector, which is all rusty, and you want to tap it that way off of that bracket. I couldn't get the connector to the harness to unslide off of that bracket, so I removed the 8mm bolt that was holding it on there. Now I'm going to have to unplug it. Pull the boot back a little bit, gain access to it, and that's just how it unplugged, that like that. And push on a little tab and pull it off. Now you can go ahead and fish that alternator out of there. And it came out just like that. Okay, so put it back in there the same way. Okay, here's the new one. I'm gonna drop it down in there and then hook up my connector and my battery terminal. Make sure you take notice of the lower adjuster. Okay, it's got a hole in it, that's where the bolt went through. And your threads, put some lube on it, NACs, same thing with your pivot bolt. Okay, get your eyelet for your battery terminal in there, and once you got your connector plugged in, put the boot back on, pull this boot up. Make sure you push this connector down in between the plastic because there's a notch for it. All right, do not push it over the notch and tighten it up because then you'll crack the plastic around it. So that's tight. Then you want to line up your bracket down below and put your bolt back in there. A little bolt, 8mm head. Now, see right there, there's a little sleeve that goes into this bracket. You need to tap on it. Put some penetrant on, tap on with a hammer and a punch to push it that way, because when you tighten the bolt up, it pushes it this way, and it makes it harder for you to get your alternator in there. Got your pivot bolt in. Don't tighten it up, but run it in, okay? Next, put a little NACs on your adjuster bolt and go down there and grab hold of that adjuster and that ring on the end of it and get it started into the bottom of the alternator. Do not put the belt on yet. If you're having a hard time getting that adjuster bolt and that lined up because of that lower bracket, pivot bracket, adjuster bracket I mean, is not lining up, then you got a bolt right there, a 14. You can loosen that up just a little bit so you can move that bracket up and down. All right, I got mine started, so now I can go ahead and put my belt on and then go ahead and screw my little screw in to tighten it up. All right, so I snugged up I got my bottom adjuster bolt in there. Snug up with your fingers, take all the slack out, get your belt on, and go ahead and screw your little wing nut in. If you really can, that wing nut's really stupid. If you want, you can find a bolt the same length as it and put a bolt in there instead of the wing nut type. It makes it impossible to tighten. But I used a pry bar to turn the wing nut, hit it down, you know, got it in there. That one. And I did it like this, got behind it, like that, and pried up against it, turned it, tapped it, anything to do it to get it to turn. So I got it tightened up, so I went ahead and tightened my adjuster bolt, and then I tightened my pivot bolt. So now that's alternator's all done. Now I can put my bracket back in there for my power steering fluid reservoir. And make sure when you're putting your alternator back in there, make sure your harness goes around the back side, not the front side. Okay? Power steering pump is down in there. Go ahead and get your pivot bolt started. Remember, it goes in that pocket. You got the lower pivot bolt. Just get it runned up, do not tighten it. Get the top one in, get it runned up, do not tighten it. Don't forget about the little 10 right here. Goes into this bracket, tighten this one up. And we can go ahead and put our belt on there. And then we can go ahead and tighten up our little wing nut adjuster. And then after that, we can go ahead and tighten up our adjuster nuts. Okay, you got your two adjuster nuts, one down there and that one right there. Snug those up after you get the belt tight. Put that little bracket in the back for the AC line. Now you're all set. Just make sure your belts are in the pulleys properly. And then you go ahead and connect your ground back up. Just make sure you have a fully charged battery when you put on another alternator, because you don't want to overheat the alternator you just put on, okay? So tighten your battery clamp up, go inside the vehicle, start it, and make sure your light's off, and then make sure you check your output of your alternator. And that's how you do your alternator. Hopefully I helped you out with this video, and hopefully you can help me out by subscribing to me. And thank you, and I appreciate it.